Cases of nursing home and assisted living facility abuse or neglect are becoming more prevalent in today's world. Jennifer Beltz has represented those injured in the community for over 20 years and joins me today with how she can help you or your loved ones. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm really glad we're shedding light on this because I think the situation can be personal for anybody, whether you're in the situation now or you may be. And that's what I want to touch on with you. When you think of Beltz and Beltz, obviously you take on a wide range of cases. But what is it about nursing home neglect and assisted living abuse that really speaks to you that you wanted to make a change?
Well, I think it comes from wanting to help who really are the most vulnerable in our society, and those persons that don't always have a voice. Most of the people that come to me, they're the family members and they're giving a voice to their loved one. And I do hope that by the work that we do, we're also helping those that don't have a voice, those people that are in facilities that don't have loved ones visiting them and the care that they're not necessarily receiving.
And you talking about helping the families, you know, obviously everyone hopes they're not in that situation, and we try to do the best that we can when it comes to finding those homes. What are some things that people need to keep in mind when they're beginning that search?
Well, you want to visit a lot of different places. I think it's important to check locations, not necessarily the one that's closest to you, but the one that's going to provide the best care for your loved one. Visit them at different times, walk into the facilities, walk throughout the facilities. Do they smell good? Do they look good? Do the staff seem to be caring for the residents? Are the residents up, out of bed? Are they dressed? Are they clean? Go at meal times. Does the food look palatable? Does it taste good? Try it. All those things can be helpful in choosing the right place for your loved one, and also, you know, meeting the people that work there and getting to know whether it's the director of nursing or whether it's the administrator or the social services director is very helpful a lot of times. Know who those people are, know who the aides are that are going to be caring for your loved one.
Well, fast forward, say you then select a place, you have a loved one in care, and you're starting to become concerned. What are some signs that people should keep in mind if there is a reason to be concerned in this situation?
Well, again, it comes back to visiting regularly and at different times. Don't let the staff know every time you're coming, you know, kind of show up and surprise them a little bit so you can get a real feel for what's happening. Obviously, the more significant injuries such as bed sores and broken bones, those are some more obvious issues, obviously, that something's happening. But other things like infections, malnutrition, dehydration, cleanliness, those are all things that aren't necessarily as obvious, more subtle, but certainly evidence that there's issues. And one of the best ways to try to help with that is to go to the care plan meeting. Every facility is required to have those quarterly for their residents, and the families are supposed to be there. And that helps you understand what issues are being addressed, and you can raise issues yourself there as well.
And I think that goes back to knowing who is actually providing the care, because you're going to know those people. You're going to be able to learn about those care plan meetings, correct?
Exactly. You're supposed to be notified, but also if you're there regularly and you're meeting the staff and you know who's caring for your loved one, then they should be at the care plan meeting as well and can address any concerns you may have.
What are some things if a person thinks like, yes, my loved one fits those signs, there is neglect or abuse going on, what can people do?
Well, first of all, I would document everything. I mean, if you're speaking with someone or you see something when you come in, write it down so you can keep track and know what's happening. And if you're seeing a trend, there's several things you can do. You can obviously start at the facility level and talk to the administrator and the director of nursing. But if you're concerned and you still have more questions, consider calling a lawyer, not necessarily because you want to file a claim, but just to get your questions answered and find out, and what I'm seeing, is this really something that I should be concerned about, and what other options do I have to try to get my loved one the care they need. Because
I'm assuming there are those legal ramifications like statute of limitations and things that people need to be aware of. That's where contacting to someone like yourself is the best move.
Absolutely. I mean, there are definitely limitations on time in terms of bringing these types of claims, and I take a lot of calls, unfortunately, from people who, due to personal needs and personal grieving from having lost a loved one, where they've waited too long. So it's definitely worth it to give the call. It's free. There's no cost to that. We talk to people regularly, constantly, and help everyone that we can. And as one of my associates tells me, if we can't help them ourselves, we definitely want to provide options for them and places to go.
That's key. I can tell how passionate you are. Thank you for doing what you're doing out there, because again, you're giving a voice to those who may not have it. So if you have any questions or you want more on how Beltz can help, well, give them a call or visit their website at the information that you see on your screen. Thank you again for coming on. I really think this is an important one to talk about today.
Thank you very much for having me.